Okay, the button. The button worked. You just had to give it
This
time.
legally has to start with a super dramatic cover of "Smells Like Teen Spirit" by Nirvana.
Oh yeah,
I I
what
hate
a
that.
choice.
I
What?
hate it. I hate it so much.
Yeah,
Like,
it's bizarre. When I was watching it in theaters, Layla was sitting next to me and she turned to me and she said, "This feels like a video game cinematic." And I was like, "Yeah, it really kind of does."
yeah.
Just in
I
the
mean,
middle of this movie.
I was like, because the whole beginning, we're talking about Black Widow,
Oh yeah, hi, welcome to Critically Loud.
Marvel's
We're
Black
talking about
Widow.
Black Widow and stuff.
Yeah.
And anyway, let's keep going.
Um, the whole beginning of the movie, I'm like, yes, I'm here for it. I'm here for it. This is awesome. And then the credits start, and I was like, wait, what the fuck? Wait,
Yeah.
why that specific music choice? It's the most like 2000s I'm edgy ass shit ever. I was so confused.
No, yeah, it was, and then also like just both choosing that song for one, plus the weird surrealist way and the that it was covered, plus the weird like hazy way all the shots are done. It feels out of a very different, much worse movie than
Yes.
Black Widow
And
actually is.
choosing that song over American Pie is insane.
Oh man,
Right? Like
that's such a missed
just
opportunity.
do it. Right?
Oh, that would have been so much better.
Yeah, I was like, do you not have enough money to keep playing American Pie? Or what?
They're Disney, dude.
Yeah,
Disney has
yeah.
infinite money. Disney can buy like 15 Don McLeans and make him make 15 more songs comparable to American Pie, and they'd still have money
Yeah.
left for another Jungle Cruise movie.
Oh. Oh, don't remind me. Well, I'm not watching that.
I'm watching it.
Whatever. Yeah, you can watch it. We're not covering it here. Go enjoy that in your own time if you want to. I'm
Watch
not
it be
watching.
really good. Watch it like end up being the best movie
I
ever
don't
made.
fucking care. It looks awful and just like a knockoff of Pirates of the Caribbean.
I mean, it is what it is.
I know in like pretty much every sense. They had to include zombie historical figures. They were like, we can't do zombie pirates.
Zombie conquistadors. Yeah.
Sure. Like fucking what? I could just go play Uncharted if I wanted that.
Are there zombie conquistadors in Uncharted?
There's zombies and conquistadors in the first Uncharted.
No, I've never played
I don't
any
know
of
if
those
there are
games.
zombie conquistadors. Really? I've played a bit of 4. 4 is so much fun. I want to beat that game, but we don't have it anymore.
Anyway, back to Black Widow.
Yeah.
Overall, it's a pretty good movie.
It's
pretty good.
I liked it a lot. And I won't say the ending really soured it for me, but the final like the big action sequence is just kind of whatever compared to everything else for me.
I mean, it's what Marvel always does, is it always falls back, which is why without going into spoilers, but the ending for one of the Marvel shows to me shows a lot of maturity, because usually Marvel at the end they just result to their third act brouhaha where everybody just punches each other until the other person succumbs, right? Like
Yeah.
it's literally every Marvel movie, and this does result. So I don't think it doesn't necessarily break it for me. It's just like it's a Marvel movie. That's kind of how they work.
Right. Like, and I think that's the problem, right? Is like that's my problem with it is that this movie, I don't know, it was exceptionally entertaining for a long time, and then the end is like explosions.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, fine, yeah, I'll watch it.
Yeah, I think for a solo film, I think it's one of the better ones. For a Marvel film, I'd say it's like middle.
I would put it higher. I will say there's some missed opportunities with the character. We've talked a little bit about this before, but it's something I still believe. Yeah.
Oh, there is a lot of controversy to one of the interpretations of one of the classic comic book characters.
Yeah.
So, and this, okay. So if you probably know already, but Taskmaster's in this movie. He's in the trailers a whole bunch, and then also people have been talking about him a whole bunch. But just the fact that the movie does take a very different direction with Taskmaster than the comics do.
And like, I don't think many people know who Taskmaster is in the comics. Like, he was not a big character. He hasn't shown up in any of the Marvel movies. Like, if you played Marvel vs. Capcom 3, maybe you know who he is.
Or the Avengers game for PS4.
Yeah.
Or
That too.
Spider-Man.
Yeah, Spider-Man. He's shown up a couple different places, but like not really super present.
Because he's not one of the big villains. He's just a
Yeah,
mercenary.
he
That's
is
it.
almost always a secondary antagonist.
Yeah.
And his whole shtick is that he can copy any move that he sees. Like everything he sees, he can replicate exactly.
Yeah.
Which this movie kind of does. Not really.
No, it does. No.
Okay, it does
really,
with like
I
the
think it does.
Avengers. They fight like the Avengers.
Yeah, and I love that. But
I would have liked them to see him fight Red Guardian with because Red Guardian goes to a very explicit wrestling move in their fight, and it responds to like the Black Panther cause, and that's cool or whatever. But like, make him do the wrestling move.
I don't know. I think you should have responded with like the cap.
The first time we see Taskmaster, very much so, in a scene that I think is awesome. Yeah. My thing with Taskmaster is that we'll talk about it later. That's spoiler territory, I think.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying, like, addressing the whole different than the comic book origins. I think it's fine. It doesn't like, because the thing is, when it really goes down to it, if you're gonna use Taskmaster as a villain in a Black Widow movie, you kind of got to change it up because the villain, like, the whole saying, like, a hero is only as good as their villain, which is only partially true because Marvel movies are pretty good and a lot of their villains aren't great.
And I think that's just like a whatever. And what does a good villain necessarily mean?
Yeah.
You know? And I will say, I don't keep going. I'll let you finish.
Oh, well, all I was going to say is just like you can't just have mercenary who copies powers be a villain for a Black Widow movie and expect it to be satisfying to the way that a story is told.
Okay.
Right? Like if it's
who Taskmaster fully is, though.
But if you think about comic origin Taskmaster, if you want to have like this catharsis for Scarlett Johansson's character, like specifically Scarlett Johansson's Black Widow, you kind of like, if it's just Taskmaster, it's not doing much for her.
Yeah, except for Taskmaster isn't the main antagonist, right? That's kind of what makes it Taskmaster as a character fun in the comics, is that they're the bastard mercenary. And that means they're kind of a brick wall, and they generally are a secondary antagonist, which means they don't always have to have that emotional catharsis. They're not tied down by that. They don't have to be heavily dramatic. They can be entertaining.
But I think the fact that it is in this movie works really well to its advantage.
I think it would. And I think we should go into spoilers.
Immediately? Oh, right now? Okay.
Because I think we're in this conversation, right? Like, I don't think we should just cut it off. So the big thing is that when Black Widow was turning away from the Red Room, which was this spy organization that she was a part of, that like brainwashed women to becoming like the most powerful spies for the Russian government. And that's who she was for a very long time until she got out. And in order to prove that she was no longer brainwashed or like a spy or anything, she had to kill her boss. I forget his name. Russian guy name.
Russian dude with glasses and bald head.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the way she did it was that she used his daughter as bait and blew both of them up.
Kind of.
It turns out, yes. I mean, it turns out he didn't get blown up. And she thinks that she killed this little girl and it's a weight on her conscience. And then this whole time she's fighting Taskmaster and whatever. And then we find out that Taskmaster is actually an adult, like fully mind controlled, like through robotics, fucked up, like pretty much machine soldier for her father.
Yeah.
Who does not treat her like a daughter, treats her like a tool.
Yeah.
Like he treats everything as life. And I think he's the star of the show in this movie. I think he's great.
David Harbour.
But David Harbour's also great. But I also really like this guy's scenes as a villain. He delivers.
Oh yeah, he's very good.
He's supposed to be. I think he's very good. So that's the big spoiler. And what I think is that it works. My only thing is, at the end of the movie, Black Widow and Taskmaster have this whole fight, And in the end, she saves Taskmaster. She uses like this nanotech that she's been using to save all of the other brainwashed spies and like unbrainwashes her. And she's fine at the end of the movie, right? Like she's crying and she's like, is he gone? And she's like, yes, he's gone. And she's happy. And that's it, right? They created a character that is supposed to be kind of like emotionally powerful for Black Widow. And they like partially, I think they did this where it's like, well, we're not going to fight Black Widow in the future because
spoilers.
If you haven't seen Avengers Endgame at this point, fucking like, okay, I'm sorry. Yeah. Black Widow dies in the movie. She sacrifices herself. And so they were like, well, we can't have her come back again, so we might as well save her in this one, which I don't think is the right move. You're obviously trying to replace it with her little sister, which is a good move, by the way. I like her a lot.
Oh, she's great. Like, the chemistry between the whole family in this movie is amazing.
That's another great thing about this movie. But she gets saved, and it's like, oh, this is a lot of missed potential. We don't really get to explore this character. You wanted to create someone with emotional weight, but because you kind of use them as the same thing you would if you use them as a regular Taskmaster, there's no reason to have them like that in this movie, right? Like, I understand your argument, but it's only really for like, hey, plot twist, and then the character's saved. And Black Widow doesn't have to deal with any ramifications or consequences after that. Partially because she's dead. And her sister doesn't have to deal with those ramifications or consequences or anything like that.
Yeah, and it's more interesting if you have this villain stay for, because there's probably going to be a sequel to Black Widow, except going to be with the sister as the new Black Widow. And like, so it's more interesting if you have Taskmaster return and it's like her sister's burden to bear, right?
Yeah, exactly. It is something that Natasha never got to resolve. It is that, and that's something that you don't get in Marvel movies. And it adds some gray, which is something that Black Widow should absolutely be.
Gray Widow?
No, like she.
No, I know. I'm joking. Bad joke. Never mind.
That's my main argument for. I think I like the idea, but because they save her, there's absolutely no reason for her to be like that. Just make it regular Taskmaster. You're more likely to make the fans happy. It's just going to be more entertaining than for the entire movie, because you can't spoil this. They're just like not saying anything. I am like being a threat, and that's cool. And those scenes are entertaining. But if you have it with actual mercenary bastard Taskmaster, it's more fun. I mostly what I disagree with is the fans who are saying like that the movie's garbage because Taskmaster isn't Taskmaster, which like I think it's a different story you tell though, or at least you're trying to tell, because like what they were trying to tell, you can see the direction they're going. It's just the follow through that's different. Yes.
So I think
the thing to consider is that the story they decided to tell was with using the name of a character that people know and love, right? Yeah. That was a choice they made. They used a character's name for a red herring.
Well, I wouldn't say red herring, but
it's a red herring. It's a red herring.
Well, kind of. I don't know. It's like red herring adjacent, because like it's not like, oh, it wasn't Taskmaster all along. It was freaking Red Skull. I don't know. Like that's more red herring to me.
Sure. I see the problems with it, and I don't think it makes the movie terrible. I really like this movie, but they decided not to use a character. It's very similar to what they did with what's his name? The guy from Iron Man 3.
Oh, Mandarin?
Mandarin. Yeah, Mandarin. It's pretty much the exact same thing over again.
Well, they're writing that in they're doing it again.
The Mandarin is an actual character, but I don't think that we'll get that for Taskmaster.
I think we could in a TV show. Like Taskmaster would work well in like another season of.
Yes, but Taskmaster is Taskmaster. You know, in the movies, it's like it's not Taskmaster from the comics, but in Iron Man 3, Ben Kingsley was not Mandarin, right?
Yeah,
he was an actor.
Which, in hindsight, probably a good idea to
dodged a
like,
bullet.
yeah,
Marvel dodged a bullet. They were like they were so lucky that they made this choice that everyone hated, because now people would be like, wow, you had a British white dude play a generally Asian character in your movie.
yeah.
Like,
No, well, the Mandarin is an Asian character. He's
It's
called the
Asian.
Mandarin. It's like
Yeah.
calling somebody the English. Like it's
yeah, he's like, oh, they got lucky.
yeah.
And I mean, I'm original Mandarin from the comics, very racist, right? I have to presume. I've seen images,
for
right?
sure. For sure.
Yeah.
I mean, like a lot of stuff was back then, and that's not saying like it's fine, but it was like it's a different time, you know.
Yeah,
People
a
wouldn't
different time that's fucking awful.
Yeah, a
Full
different
of
time
awful
with
people doing awful things.
odd creative decisions when it comes to character design.
Not odd at the time, which is like the thing, right? There's
Yeah.
a normalization of racism.
Yeah, and there still is to a certain point.
Yes,
It's just less
there
now.
absolutely is. It's just that people are like noticing it more,
Mhm.
and there's like, I would say a lot of the ways Hollywood and media are responding to it in general are far more presentational than actually wanting to make change.
Oh, for sure.
They want to make it as surface level as possible because, you know,
Mm-hmm.
it's Hollywood.
Well, that's how business works. It's very much about the showing off and then, you know, trying to distract the public from the behind the scenes. This has gotten super off topic.
I mean, it's back to Taskmaster. I do think it was a poor choice, and they should have just like committed to something, right? Because they made this character, and it just feels weird that you would put so much work into changing who this character is to make them the exact same thing as they would be without, except for some minor changes that I think are not necessary.
Yeah. I think it works mostly just because I was never really a big fan of Taskmaster, so I don't really care if he's.
I don't know a lot about Taskmaster, but I fucking love mercenary bastards. They are my favorite type of character. They're so great. Like Bane. Bane rules. Bane's awesome.
Bane's great.
Yeah. Anyone knows Mortal Kombat? Kano, my boy.
Kano.
You know him from the movies, but in the comics, he is just like the biggest piece of shit. I mean, the video games.
I was thinking they're like Mortal. Or there probably are Mortal Kombat comics.
There are lots. But Kano is just the biggest piece of shit. He's also fucking hilarious.
Yeah. All right. So should we just like go through this movie step by step?
Yeah, we should talk about it because I don't know. I don't really like going through the movie step by step.
Well, we can go step by step with only really visiting.
We can talk about beats. So
yeah.
One thing, like we said at the beginning, I love the intro to this movie. It's so good.
Mm-hmm.
It's so great. It's a young Natasha and her sister in like Oregon,
Ohio,
one of the O states.
They're on the exact opposite sides of the country, dude.
When would you think the last time I seriously looked at a map was?
Nice.
I'm not joking. Like, so it's like them, and they're living in this family. It's those two kids, and then their mom and their dad. The dad's like pretending to be a scientist.
Yeah.
The dad comes home and it's like, hey, we're gonna go on an adventure, and everyone except for the youngest child knows what's going on, because this is a family of Russian spies a la The Americans. Have you ever seen The Americans?
I have not.
I've watched a little bit of that show. It's like a show about a family of like Russian spies in America. And it's like a thriller, it seems, but it's very similar to that. And the whole thing is like them leaving their house, and then the dad like just grabs a chunk of metal and tosses it across the like airfield as they go into this tiny plane, and it leads to this whole excellent escape sequence with them in a car. I'm not like correctly talking about it beat by beat, but it's this awesome beginning chase sequence where like partially the youngest daughter is like, what the fuck is happening? We're in a plane. My mother just got shot. My dad's hanging on the side of the like plane.
My sister's driving the plane.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then they arrive off land. And this guy who we turn out, what's his name? I gotta know what's his name. It's Google.
Big Russian mob boss man, evil man, antagonist boy. Those are probably some of the names he could be called by.
Dreykov. His name's
Dreykov.
Dreykov.
That's the most villainous Russian name I've ever heard in my life.
So Dreykov is like, okay, the parents are free to go. The dad's like, I want to be Red Guardian again, and he talks in a Russian accent now, and then he takes the girls and separates them, and then we get that goofy ass music sequence of like these girls growing up and being trained, and it's insane.
I do enjoy though the fact that they had an implication that Bill Clinton used the Black Widows at some point.
I didn't get to that, but that I didn't fully.
There's a bit where like Bill Clinton's face is circled from a photograph, like it's circling a bunch of like world leaders' faces.
Huh.
Yeah. I don't know. I thought that was kind of cute. Anyway.
Cute.
Well, okay,
Yes,
cute's the
very
wrong
cute.
word for it, but it basically shows that the widows have been interfering in global and domestic politics in multiple countries for a very, 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 very long time.
Yeah.
Like they're the best hired assassins money can buy. And then we get magic red juice.
That scene is kind of dope. Like the whole thing where we see Natasha's younger sister, or like adoptive family younger sister, is with a widow unit hunting some lady, and it leads to this like dope chase sequence where she murders this lady right before the lady uses some kind of deprogramming magic grenade thing that saves her.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, oh my god, what have I done?
Yeah.
And then she like pieces out. That's great.
But when you say pieces out, you mean dies, right?
No, I mean Natasha's sister.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about the old lady. She's just like,
and then she
like
pieces out of existence.
Yeah. Wait. When talking about Kung Fu Panda, could you say that Oogway pieces out of existence? Because I kind of want to say, yeah,
100%. Yes, yeah, he pieces out of existence. That's exactly
amazing.
what he does.
Kung Fu Panda detour, but anyway, we see. Oh yeah, so this movie takes place in between or right after Civil War,
right?
Because Cap is still in prison. The movie ends with Black Widow going going in the Quinjet, and we hear the Avengers theme, and she's gonna go break Cap and Bucky and Sam and whoever's in there out. Yeah. And so the whole bit is like she's the only she is still kind of between families right now, because she's always thought of the Avengers as her family because she didn't like her because her own family was false. And then so
she didn't really consider herself having a family.
Yeah.
Or she didn't think about it that way. I don't know.
Yeah, well, but the whole thing is like she doesn't have a family at the moment because one of them's in prison and the other one is like Russian and evil or whatever. Well, semi-evil. Was evil. But so this whole thing is finding out she does have a family, and then and one of the things though, like the dude, the friend zoned guy who felt like who's like he's like the person who gives Black Widow her stuff.
He's not friend zoned.
It felt extremely like a friend zone character just to me.
They're like chill. They're homies. They're cool.
Okay, that might have just been me putting on my own.
He doesn't like ever try to hit on her. He's like, who do you think I am? He's like, yeah, cool. I got you a house, and then she's like, I need you to get me a jet, and he's like, I can't get you a jet.
You think I'm made out of jets? Yeah.
Like you gave me a day.
But one of the things that I thought while watching the movie, I was like, he's probably Taskmaster. And then
what?
I thought he was Taskmaster, and then when the kid story was revealed, as soon as the whole like Budapest story, which I really like that they integrated the Budapest story from Avengers. There's a specific line in Avengers where Black Widow and Hawkeye are fighting together, and Black Widow says like, man, this kind of reminds me of Budapest, and then Hawkeye says, you and me remember Budapest very differently, and he shoots the thing in the face. But I like that they like incorporated that, and I thought that was
like
cute.
Budapest is an actual thing.
Yeah, like it's not just a Joss Whedon quip anymore. But the once the Budapest flashback was revealed, I was instantly like, okay, I'm pretty sure that's what Taskmaster is. Like, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. I wasn't really thinking about it. I don't know. It's just kind of it. Yeah.
Yeah. eventually her and her sister meet up. The basic plot is explained. We got the magic red juice to free the widows or whatever.
Yeah.
And then they go say, okay, well, we need to figure out where the base is, because the whole thing is Black Widow or Natasha. She thought she killed the guy in the explosion
And the Red Room in general, which
yeah,
is like the name of the organization.
Yeah, it turns out she didn't. So I have to find it. Neither of them knows where it is. It turns out to be Howl's Moving Castle, not Howl's Moving Castle, the castle in the sky, whatever. But they decide, oh, we need to find it. Let's go bust David Harbour, aka Hellboy, out of prison. Have you ever noticed he's played 2 red comic book characters at this point? David Harbour has.
Yeah, fuck one of them.
This is a much better movie than Hellboy 2019.
Absolutely, it is. Let's not talk about Hellboy 2019. I don't like whatever. Yeah. I do. You did skip over one of the sequences that I really like when they're being hunted by the widow. And we watch Natasha watch this girl like against her own will shoot herself in the head.
Yeah, she's like, I don't want to do this, and their entire face is melted.
Yeah, it would have been benefited if it was a gunshot, but you can't do that in a Marvel movie where she just.
Yeah, well, there's no way.
You can't. It just can't happen. Yeah, but it was a cool scene, anyways. It wasn't. You're like, oh shit, okay. Yeah, and you kind of like you begin to see who this guy is in the background, who's just like the biggest scumbag.
Oh yeah, this movie really nails the whole like evil guy in a chair idea. Like his presence is always there. Like a lot of times with those movies, the problem that they fall into is you kind of forget about the evil bad guy in the chair after a while. But with this one, he constantly feels like he's a presence on all the secondary antagonists that they come across. And I think that's really well done. And in this bit, before they actually get to their dad, we get some really good chemistry between Natasha and her sister. And it's like, I'm very excited to see how, I don't remember her name, but how the new Black Widow is going to integrate into the MCU, because I really, really like her character and that actress.
I agree.
She is very, very well done in terms of like she's I don't know how I'd explain, but like it threads the needle of being, being a funny character without being like an annoying one. There's a better way to put this.
Yeah, like, she's funny, but she feels like a person.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
And like there's a whole thing with a vest, which it's funny, but also like this isn't a Joss Whedon movie.
Well, no, the main thing is because Black Widow is wearing the vest when she falls.
Yes, I know. Yeah.
But also there's a bit with like, she's talking about how Black Widow always lands when she drops, and like, the one like a superhero pose and like flipping the hair back. And then later we see a movie where like later we see a scene where she does it, she flips her hair back. She's like, oh, that's the worst.
No, oh god.
It's so good.
It's great. She's great. I really liked her. And so the whole thing is they have to rescue their secret dad, their fake dad.
Their secret dad.
Their fake dad, who is also just like, he's getting a tattoo on his back while talking about how he fought Captain America.
And like breaking dudes' bones.
He's just winning until one guy's like, you weren't around when Captain America was around. And then he's just like, and destroys his arm.
Yeah, full of like what I'm always afraid of whenever I do an arm wrestle. I'm always afraid my arm's accidentally gonna like, but it's just, what do you mean I wasn't there? He crushes the guy's arm and he's like, I fought Captain America. And the other guy's like, yep.
Which is hilarious because he absolutely didn't.
No, he did not. There's no way.
Captain America has no idea who the Red Guardian is, just like everybody else in this.
Yeah. No, I love David Harbour is so good because he acts like, he's like this old rock star who's retired, but nobody's heard of him and he thinks everybody is.
It's great. And he's like hella strong.
Oh yeah. And also like David Harbour with massive beard looks very good. Like he looks very, very it looks like Red Guardian could fight a bear and win.
Yeah. And he has.
Yeah, he definitely has.
When he's bored. They do a whole prison break scene that's very fun. And there's like a part where an avalanche is coming down and young Black Widow is like, this would be a very cool way to die.
Yeah.
Which comes up again later.
Yeah, no, the quips in this are very good because you got to have the Marvel mid fight scene quip.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think they're not like overly zealous or not zealous.
Yeah.
That's not the word I'm thinking of.
Overly dramatic, kind of cheesy or whatever.
Yeah, like they're in good taste. It's not like just forget what we're the stakes we're actually in. Let's just have a few jokes.
Yeah. It mostly seems like a coping mechanism between most of Natasha's family. Is like, this is how we deal with the fucked up shit we've done.
Yeah.
It's very good. And then they find their mom, and they have a whole like family bonding thing. And then it seems like, and the family bonding scene's good. There's a part where they kind of sing American Pie because it was the little girl's favorite song.
Yeah. It's a
everyone's
very
like,
nice scene with like very good chemistry.
Yeah,
like
the
you
family
can tell,
dinner is great.
You can tell these actors are all working very hard and did really good job together on
and
set.
Just like they must have had a blast together.
Just there's a bit where David Harbour's trying to put on his old red Guardian suit, and he's just like stretching into it, full like grabbing into it till he goes to the dinner and he's like standing in his pose. Like, are you gonna take that off? And he goes, no. Yeah, the fact that he just puts it on and then never takes it off afterwards is the most amazing
the rest
thing
of the
ever.
movie, he's just like, I am
Red
Guardian again. I will never not be Red Guardian again.
Yeah, David Harbour, I love in this. He's David Harbour, and the younger sister is my favorite part of this movie.
Yeah, and the mom's good too. I like her a lot too.
Yeah,
with the pigs.
When that pig was like not breathing, I was like, oh my god, save that pig! Marvel,
yeah, she just makes it not breathe with mind control.
Yeah. Oh man, it's a lot of fun. This movie is a lot of fun to watch.
Yes. And there's a whole thing, and then the mother says she's already called. What's his name?
Dreykov. I was super wrong. I was gonna say Ian Malcolm.
Sorry, my grandmother's calling me on the phone. Ian Malcolm? What? The guy from Jurassic Park?
I know. I just know.
What we were talking about? Oh yeah, we were talking about like the family chemistry and the pig.
Yeah, and then the mom. It ends with the mom calling
Dreykov.
And
you called him Ian Malcolm.
That's not
Jeff Goldblum's character from Jurassic Park, right? That's who that is.
They're very similar characters, Gus.
Yeah. That's not even a Russian sounding name.
It's not. I don't know
what. Where did this? I am so but Dreykov is coming, and then we get like we see that the mom kidnaps all of them, or at least that's what we think.
Yeah.
And then the mom gets into a room with Dreykov, and we get probably my favorite scene in the movie.
And this is where it's revealed that the Red Room is now the castle in the sky, and that's how they were able to avoid detection because they were covered by a few clouds.
Which is like fucking what? Some of the things that the Red Room is able to do in this movie is insane.
Yeah.
Like, just fucking, why do you have so much global influence? We have Hydra. Did this before. You did this exact thing before.
Yeah, especially with like ending in a big airship that eventually goes boom and comes crashing down.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that's just Winter Soldier, which makes sense because like Black Widow is very connected to Captain America.
Yes, but also you don't have to recycle the same thing. Yeah. Right.
I think it would be cool if you did like an underground thing because I don't think Marvel has done an underground base yet.
Yeah.
Or no, you know what you got to do? Go full Incredibles. Have a base in the base of a volcano. Like there's like lava flow. Go full Brad Bird.
Like grimy underground, like criminal underground. And I don't know. That's just a more fun, interesting place to be, in my opinion, than like we control everything.
Yeah. Well, I think like this movie should have been more of a spy movie than an action movie, because Black Widow is at heart an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D.
And it should. Yeah, I don't know.
In this movie, she isn't an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. because she's a vigilante.
Yeah,
she went against the Sokovia Accords, whatever.
But Dreykov, and it turns out that the mom that had kidnapped all of them is actually Black Widow with one of those Winter Soldier face mask things. Speaking of like a redux,
also like why haven't those things been used since Winter Soldier? Because they would have been so useful in so many situations.
In which situations?
Like if you want it in Civil War, if you have the they do use it in Civil War.
Yeah,
because that's what Sockhead guy. What's his name?
You mean Zemo?
Zemo. Yeah, that's what Zemo uses to make people think it's Bucky doing it. Never mind.
Yeah.
I thought it wasn't even used since then. I'm wrong.
No, it's been used in all of the movies that where it would be applicable to use since then.
No, yeah, it's been used. There's just so many Marvel movies that I can't remember the plots for like a good 90% of them.
Yeah, but she uses the face mask thing to get in with Dreykov, and then she can't attack him because he's got like a pheromone thing or whatever.
When he said that, I immediately thought of Joker with his like flower pin that shoots acid out.
We get probably my favorite scene, which is like this interaction between him and Black Widow, where he just is kind of terrifying and abusive, and like just exactly the character you'd expect him to be.
Yeah, and he
get the reveal about Taskmaster,
and it's done very well. It's not like villain monologue-y really at all. Like it is a villain monologue, but it's done very well.
Yeah, like it's an interaction between the two of them. I don't know.
It's and he threads the line of like being a terrifying villain while also cracking a joke or two, and
like, just being like a pathetic scumbag.
Yeah, like once his power is taken away from him, he's nothing.
Yeah, he's a piece of shit. He's great. I like this character's villain, and then he reveals that he's got spies everywhere all the time, and it's like, oh, okay,
Hydra.
Yeah, like we did this. You got to stop doing this. It's gonna take away the weight from all of the different things. Because when they did it with Hydra, you were like, oh shit, this completely changes like how we look at the MCU, and now.
And then there were kind of like zero repercussions for it.
Yeah,
if you really think about it.
Well, they moved in a different direction,
Yeah, which is fine.
Yeah.
And anyway, there's a whole bit where the way that his pheromones make it so that you can't attack him is it's some nerve that connects to your brain and your forehead. So there's this epic scene that was amazing where like Black Widow just straight up says like she just smashes her head.
Well, first of all, she gets him to punch her a bunch.
Oh, yeah.
Which she thought would be enough to sever the nerve. It doesn't. So she slams her head on the ground, punches him in the face, and proceeds to like just assault him.
Yeah, it's great.
And then we get like this big final scene where everything's exploding, and I just don't care.
Well, first we have like the Widows fight Black Widow, and she's able to take a few of them out before she's overrun by them. And then we have Yelena. Oh, I just remembered her name. Cool. Anyway, you have Yelena, who's the younger sister. She like throws the magic red juice, and it goes poof, and everybody's okay. Yay. And then Black Widow does this thing that made me cringe super hard in the theater, where she broke her nose when she smashed it against the table, and she grabs her nose and she cracks it back into place. And I hated everything because I can do like gore where it's like, someone gets stabbed in the face or someone gets, their throat slit. It makes me a little queasy, but I can do it. If I like see one of those movies where you see somebody's forearm bend backwards, I'm done.
Did you never have like when you were in elementary school that people do like this and then like that?
Well, yeah, I did it, but like, it's always like it's fake, right? You're not actually.
Yeah, I know, but like you never saw someone do that and thought that it was real.
No.
Oh,
because somebody taught me how to do it on the first day of school.
No, someone tricked me first. It was like that was so much fun.
Yeah. But like she like cracks it back into place. It made me wince because I hate the whole idea of broken bones. Which is weird.
Horribly painful to me. I've never broken a bone. It's terrifying to me.
I have fractured my butt bone when I fell down the stairs.
Yeah.
That was fun. I got to sit on a pillow for a month. But she fixes her nose. And then there's David Harbour gets a fight with Taskmaster at the same time. There's like a whole scheme happening in the building. A whole bunch of things are happening. You've probably already seen the movie.
She literally blows up a helicarrier, a fan on it, like in the first Avengers movie.
Oh yeah.
There's a couple. This is probably the most an interesting part of the movie.
I like David Harbour's fight with.
Yeah,
I
it's
like the
good.
choreography for the individual fights. I
Yeah,
think that's a.
there's some highlights, but overall,
Speaking
I
of
just found it.
choreography, actually, just this movie has some of the best choreography of the MCU, in my opinion,
Yeah.
like fight choreography. There's a fight much earlier in the movie when we first meet Taskmaster, where Black Widow
Oh,
fights
that's my favorite
Taskmaster on
fight.
the bridge, and it's like the pacing of that fight. There's only one bit that I don't like, which is where Black Widow does the whole thing that people do with Captain America all the time, where she only shoots at the shield, like not
Oh,
even tries at the legs or the arms.
yeah.
But other than that, that fight's fantastic. You know, they're dodging punches. You know, you see that Taskmaster is able to replicate her fighting style. And at one point, Taskmaster straight up becomes Spider-Man with a sword, which is awesome.
Yeah. It's
And
cool.
then a scene that Black Widow probably should have died for, but like Taskmaster freaking like kicks her, which makes her go flying off the bridge.
Yeah, he fucks
Which,
her up.
yeah, Black Widow, I think probably should have died multiple times in this movie.
I don't know. I think that's one of her things, right? She's fucking human, but she can take a punishing.
Yeah.
That's for her from the comics too. There's like a whole thing where she went through surgery awake with no drugs, like surgery,
Ugh.
and she was like, she didn't scream. She was like, this is awful. She didn't scream. She's like, that's her thing.
She's just
Right.
like fully stone. She's like a tigress, you know. I punched the trees for 20 years, so my fist
Yeah.
can't feel a thing.
She just doesn't give a fuck. And that's comics Black Widow, but I think you can give like movie Black Widow some of that.
Yeah, well, I think movie Black Widow, she's tough. That's
Yeah.
And she can, like you said, she can withstand a punch and 2 punches and 5 punches and a whole bunch of punches.
And torture, probably. I would assume,
yeah, almost definitely. She can probably
Yeah.
take it with a straight face until she dies.
Yeah.
But we end the movie. We already talked about the whole Taskmaster bit.
Yeah, she like saves him. Dreykov dies in a helicopter explosion.
Which I wanted Dreykov to die a little bit more
Yeah,
violently.
In the hands of Yelena, I would think.
I thought what was going to happen is when he got in the helicopter that they were going to like Captain America him and he was going to fly into the propeller somehow.
Oh, do it. Yeah. Classic Indiana Jones.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking Captain America just because there's a bit where in the first movie, he breaks a dude out of a thing that has a wind thing on it and he throws the guy behind him and you literally see the dude fall backwards, get hit by the propeller and just turn into red dust. And it's like gnarly. But yeah, I thought that was going to happen. The explosion's fine. It doesn't like, again, a lot of my problems with this movie are a bit nitpicky. Like most of it works for me, but mostly just because, and I give it a grain of salt just because it's a Marvel movie. Like I'm not saying Marvel's bad. I really like Marvel. It's just not anything incredibly special.
It suffers from a lot of the big problems that Marvel suffers from, especially in the third act.
Yeah.
Is my best description of this movie.
No, I
there's
agree.
Some stuff that it's held back by Marvel's general, like, and I don't know why they keep making those choices. I feel like at this point they understand that they don't have to. It's weird.
Well, because you also have to think like the movies are towards children, right? Like there's a certain way that's
but like children don't want to see the same ending for every movie, you know?
Like I watched the same movie every day for 4 years, man. Sometimes kids
I
are
know,
okay
but
with...
you are you.
Okay, that feels like an insult, which is true though.
I'm just saying, kids can watch the same thing over and over again, right? But they don't have to. And these movies are not directly for kids, right? They can watch the...
No, yeah, agreed. And I think most of it where you also get at the end where like she is saying goodbye to her family, she says see you in a minute, and it's tragic because she's not going to see him in the minute. Well, I think we should go with
we should talk about the end credits scene.
Yeah, because
I fucking hate this scene. I don't like it at all. I really, really don't like it.
Yeah, the end credits, there's like 2 parts to this end credit scene. I like the first part of the end credit scene, and the second part I have confused by. Like, it's not that I don't like it. I'm just straight up confused.
Yeah, so the first half is Yelena paying respects to Natasha after she's dead.
And there's like a dog, and it's very cute.
And what I really wanted and was expecting to happen was for Clint to show up and be like,
I thought the same thing.
It should have been me. That's what I was expecting.
Yeah.
Right? Like, but it's not. It's fucking whatever her fucking name is from Falcon and the Winter Soldier, who I hate. I don't know why I hate her. I just find her so annoying. And I know she's supposed to be kind of annoying in like a movie TV show way, but I find her annoying in a please I don't want to see this on my screen way.
Yeah.
She's like from Seinfeld. I don't know. She's got this.
She's Madam Hydra. I don't
I
remember her
know.
actually. She might not actually be Madam Hydra, but like I'm pretty
Everyone
sure
thinks she is. She's Madam Hydra. I don't know.
everybody's calling her Madam Hydra.
She's got this goofy New York accent. She's over the top flair, and then she like says, "If you want to find the person responsible for your sister's death, look for him." And then it's Hawkeye,
Yeah.
and so she's gonna be hunting Hawkeye, and it's just not what I want to see.
See, for me,
I
it's
don't
just
care.
it just confuses me because here's my thing is like she would know that Hawkeye didn't kill her sister, right? Like
Well,
the Avengers, if you think about the Avengers as public figures, there's gonna be like, and especially because everybody knows Thanos because Thanos freaking murdered
Did
half
you
the
say
world.
Thanos?
Okay, Thor calls him Thanos. Okay, I'm not the only
Thanos,
person.
come on.
I'd say Thanos. Whatever.
Thanos, that's awful. That hurts my ears, man.
It's not as bad as Kevin Feige, but
Okay, yes, but that's something my dad says, not me.
okay, fine. I'll
Sorry,
give you that.
Dad. He doesn't say Feige, he says Feig. It's not as bad as Feige.
Feige would be the worst. Feige
Yeah.
is the worst. No, Fiji is the worst iteration.
Kevin Fiji.
Kevin Fiji water. Kevin Aquafina.
Oh God. Okay, we should stop.
Kevin Smartwater. Okay, I'm done.
Yeah, would they say anything about it though? Right?
Well, I
guess
mean,
they
the thing
would.
is, like, you got to
Yeah.
explain the fact that like one of the 6 core members of the Avengers is not one of the Avengers anymore.
Yeah,
I'm pretty
she's
sure
the-
you have to make a death statement, right?
Yeah,
like-
she would. Yeah, she would know, and she also knows that Black Widow and Clint had like a good friendship together.
Yeah.
They have a whole thing where she talks about them in where was it again? Sorry,
And Sokovia, or not Sokovia, Budapest.
Budapest.
Or Budapest, as Natasha says, because apparently it's Budapest. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, like the whole thing is like, I get you're setting up for a sequel, but I think that's not necessary here.
It's just not. It's I don't know.
I think it's more important to get the closure than it is to set up the sequel.
Yeah, I agree.
Right?
I think especially in a movie like this, I don't know. There was a lot of combinations for I really didn't like it. The main one is that I fucking hate that lawyer later. She unreasonably pisses me off every time I see her on screen. And when I saw her in this, I was like, why? No, why? Why am I seeing this right now? This is not what I expected or wanted to see. I wanted give me the character closure.
Yeah. I mean, for me, her character doesn't bother me that much, mostly just because I'm waiting to see what she does. Like one of the characters that grew on me was what's his name? He's in 2 of the Captain America movies. He's not a big character, but he's in the Captain America 2 and 3, and he like
Crossbones.
Yeah, Crossbones. I really didn't like him, and then he kind of grew on me as like the movie went on, and
he dies very early on.
Yeah, but like for a secondary villain, not bad, right?
Yeah.
But like, so the whole thing is, I'm waiting to see what she does with John Walker, what she maybe does with Yelena. If we're gonna get like the Dark Avengers with like John Walker as Cap, Yelena as Black Widow, and then or something like that. If she's trying to,
oh, that's stupid. I don't like that.
It wouldn't be good, but like it could be done if it was done well, right? Like
maybe, but just give me the fucking Thunderbolts, right?
The Thunderbolts.
Yeah. Oh, you don't know about the Thunderbolts?
I don't know about the Thunderbolts.
They're like Thunderbolt Ross's like side Avengers team. It's like the corporate one.
Yeah.
It's got Red Hulk and and this is also something that Nando V Movies talks about a lot because he wants a Cobalt Man played by with Justin Hammer as Cobalt Man in the Thunderbolts would be it'd be so good. Just because Justin Hammer is fucking hilarious. I love Sam Rockwell.
I still haven't seen Iron Man 2. Iron Man 2 and Hulk are the only 2 MCU movies I haven't seen.
Hulk's from what I remember.
I just have no urge to watch either of them.
You should watch Hulk. You should watch Hulk because
Abomination
is gonna be in Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi looks dope, by the way.
Oh yeah, no, I am ready for that movie.
Yeah, the first
I love Simu Liu.
The first trailer of that, I was like, this looks so lame. And then the second one, I was like, okay, this looks cool. I'm back on board.
See, both of them, I was like, all right, this looks pretty good. And the second came out, all right, this looks very good.
I was like, oh yeah, this looks. And did you know who Abomination was fighting?
Who?
It was Wong.
That was Wong?
Yeah, it was Wong, dude.
Hell yeah!
Abomination's gonna fight Wong. I'm so excited.
Oh, Wong's gonna kick Abomination's ass.
Maybe.
He's freaking Wong, dude. Wong's the greatest.
Yeah,
also, like, I'm
Wong.
excited for that movie because Simu Liu. If you have you ever watched Kim's Convenience?
No, I don't know if I ever will.
Yeah, it's fine. Well, the thing is, we started watching it because, like, with my mom specifically, who grew up with Asian immigrant parents, the character of Mr. Kim, who's like the father figure, is very, very similar to her dad, right? And so we watched that show a few years after her dad passed, and so it's like a memory of him because he does a lot of the same. He jokes the exact same way, and so the movie's very good for like people who had Asian immigrant parents because they nail that right on the head. And Simu Liu's in that show, so I'm super excited to see him in more stuff.
Yeah, I hope he's good. He looks like he'll do good.
Also, Awkwafina's great.
Shang-Chi. Yeah, I don't know. I like Awkwafina in moderation, and if she's like. She seems pretty chill in this. I liked her in what's it called? The dragon movie.
Raya.
Yeah, Raya. I liked her as the dragon in Raya. Mostly because she wasn't like she had some goofy moments, but she actually had some heartfelt moments, which is not something I saw a lot of her from. And it seems like this is going to be similar. She seems like she's going to be more of a character than like comedy.
Well, you just got to see her in the right things. Like there was a movie about that I saw her in. I forget what it's called, but it's about Awkwafina. She goes back to China where her grandmother lives because her grandmother's been diagnosed with cancer, but nobody's told her grandmother because they want her grandmother to live her last days in peace.
Gotcha.
And she is extraordinary in that movie. Like,
okay.
She's very, very good.
The main thing I had seen her in was Crazy Rich Asians, which it's just not good.
I think it's fine. I enjoy it.
It's funny, and I like the scene where it's her, and then her dad is what's his name? Oh, what's his name? Is it Chang? That's his name in Community.
Oh, Ken Jeong.
Yeah, Ken Jeong.
Yeah.
Ken Jeong's great.
Ken Jeong's amazing.
It's mostly just because of Community and how fucking hilarious. Was his name Chang in Community?
Yeah, Senor Chang.
Okay, yeah.
It was Chang, and then he did like some sort of thing where like his mind got broken.
He was Kevin, and then he was Kevin. Yeah.
No, Community's great. It's kind of a shame what happened to that show.
Yeah, well, it kind of seemed like David, what's his name? Dan Harmon.
Dan Harmon, the creator?
Yeah, like from the way that the final season was written, he did not like those characters at all. Like he resented the fact that he was still doing the show. And you could tell in the way that he was writing it because no one was redeemable or likable or entertaining in any real way, right? It was just like, oh, you kind of just hate these people now.
I mean, you lose Troy and Shirley, who were like the heart of the group.
Yeah, that too. You lose Troy, you lose Shirley, Pierce, whatever.
Pierce is funny, but like I'm fine with him being gone, just because apparently he was a jerk.
Yeah, Chevy Chase was Pierce. That was the issue, like in person. Why are we talking about Community?
I don't know. This got off track, but
this did get off track.
So this has been Black Widow out of 10
ratings.
Out of 10. I'm gonna give this a specific Marvel movie rating because. Like for me, Marvel movies are like a different genre of movie as opposed to movies. Just because
I don't know. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
it feels like judge them as movies. I don't think we should judge them as Marvel movies.
Well, okay, I'll give 2 then. If I were to just as a Marvel movie, 8 out of 10. As a movie, 6 out of 10.
I would give it probably 5, 6 out of 10 as well. 6 out of 10. I liked it.
Yeah, well, 6 out of 10 just because I enjoyed it. Like anything below 5 for me is like I didn't enjoy watching it, but I really enjoyed watching this movie. Like I had fun.
I enjoyed it too. It's just something that I think Marvel and Disney in general need to get over, which is like you can make movies about things and like not keep repeating the same concepts.
Oh, for sure,
and they'll get it at some point, especially with their solo films. Like I just hope at some point they get it.
Yeah, well, Eternals is looking to be good. Shang-Chi is looking very good.
Yeah.
I'm liking where the
We don't
future is
know
headed.
with either of those. I'm excited for both of those movies, but like, we just don't know.
Yeah.
Um,
We especially
and
don't know about the next Spider-Man movie because Marvel's being super quiet about that.
yeah, when's that coming out?
It's coming out very soon. It's like December.
What? Really? Holy
Yeah.
shit!
They're not dropping a trailer because there's been so much anticipation that like not Tony Maguire, that Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are going to be in it, and like Alfred
Oh
Molina is going to
yeah,
be in it. Like just the fact that they might be doing a Spider-Verse is getting people all excited. So Marvel's
yeah.
being all hush
I'm,
hush.
that would be weird though, because like I thought they were building up to Doctor Strange with that.
It's gonna go Spider-Man then Doctor Strange, I think.
Okay, with the multiverse stuff.
Yeah, because I think the
Alright.
whole thing is you do the multiverse and then like Doctor Strange closes the multiverse. So then,
Oh, why would you close it?
or
No.
maybe he doesn't, or maybe
No.
oh well, but then you can't have and seems like the next big villain.
Kai.
What?
Isn't that a spoiler for the show? Like I know,
Oh
but like
yeah.
we are recording a podcast, dude.
Oh whoops.
Just cut that out.
Spoilers for
No.
Loki. No, just
Cut it out.
Cut
Cut
it
it
out.
out.
Okay.
Cut it
Yeah.
out. We can do that, so we should.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
But
I have
Multiverse
editing
of
powers.
Madness, that one I'm hoping is dope.
I'm excited for
Like, because it's made who's directing it? It's the guy who made
Sam Raimi.
Spider-Man. Yeah, Sam
Raimi.
Raimi's doing it, which sounds fucking rad to me.
Yeah, no, and also, well, okay, the only thing I'm not very excited for is the fact that they're replacing Michael Giacchino with Danny Elfman for the score. Like, I love Danny Elfman, and I think he'll do a great job, but just the fact that Marvel has this problem, and I go into this in my video essay, if it would ever come out, that's a stupid thing, but I go into this in my video essay, the Marvel has a really bad habit of constantly changing the composers for the solo films. So the different leitmotifs for the characters are different in every single movie, which gives them no musical identity.
Yeah.
So even though I like Danny Elfman, I just kind of wish they stuck with the original composer because he did a really good job with the first movie.
It's Danny Elfman, but he's doing a score like Midnight Run.
he's like
soundtracks. That's such a jam.
Yeah, go watch Midnight Run if you haven't.
Oh,
we should do a podcast episode on that.
We should.
That would be a good movie.
That would be so fun to watch. I'd watch it anytime.
Oh, same. And it's on Netflix now, I think.
Oh, hell yeah. Midnight Run's great.
Yeah.
It's just funny and just fun to watch. Oh, so good. Now I want to watch Midnight Run. All right, we've gotten so far off track.
This has been Critically Loud.
Yeah.
And subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram at LittleSchemers. You can find if you're watching this on YouTube, you can find us on like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, probably other ones that I don't know the name for.
Should probably know those.
Yeah, I should probably know those. Anyway, thanks for listening. Join us next time as we cover an unknown movie that we haven't decided yet.
Yeah. Be prepared for a guest though.
Yep.
Wait, is that this? Yes.
It might be. Maybe be prepared for a guest. Maybe.
I believe so. Believe so.
But yeah, this has been Critically Loud. We covered Black Widow. Now go break civilization with secret agents.